Hey everybody, welcome back to Omega Zone Gaming. So, if you would have asked me anytime recently what Accel World was, I would have been able to tell you very minimal. Probably the fact that I knew from talk that it took place within the same universe as Sword Art Online in the slightly distant future. That would have been about all I know about it. I now want to go and watch the anime after playing this game. So, what is the plot of this game? Since we always start with plot on this channel. So, the Accel World characters are pulled 21 years from their time for Zone and get own game into the world of FM Online from Sword Art Online Season 2, and Kirito's there. They are tricked by a person who calls herself a witch named Persona Variable. She uses them to fight Kirito and try to kill them, so she has a chance to capture Yuri, Kirito and Asuna's adopted AI daughter, I guess you could call her. So, what do I think of this overall plot? I like it. It's fresh, it's original, it's something that Sword Art Online didn't rehash. How Realization did a pretty good job with their story, but they did rehash a lot of ideals, and this is something new. Yeah, it involves the bane of all existence, time travel, but oh well. For me, the story gets a 4 out of 5. It could be improved, but it's still a great story. Okay, so, on to graphics. I like these graphics. And yes, I know that How Realization definitely does have the better graphics. Hair moves appropriately, there's a lot of bright and sparkly stuff going on. Not to say that there isn't here, but it's definitely more prevalent in that game. So, but I do like the graphics. I like the way they look. I feel it works well. Especially the characters from Accel World. I like how the robotic feel actually works within the game. So that works really well in my opinion. If I had to give graphics a score, I would give it a 5 out of 5. For what it is, it does them really well, and they could have literally said, let's slap How Realization's coat of paint on there, make it look similar to that and call it a day. Yes, How Realization definitely does some other stuff really well. Hair movement, for instance. Clothing is definitely done better in this game, though, I will say that, as far as movement goes. The designs are definitely better in Realization, but I do like the movement. Kirito's jacket actually moves really well in this game. So, for me, I can't give it a lower score than a 5 out of 5, because they didn't just say, hey, let's call it a day. They actually worked on some details within it. And that was probably on a time frame. Most crossover games don't get a full development cycle. And considering how they've been still working on DLC for Realization, there's no way I can believe Accel World versus Sword Art Online had a full development cycle. I can't buy it for an instant. So 5 out of 5 in that department. Okay, audio now. The audio unfortunately fails here. Voice acting is really good, and I say that honestly. I am a big fan of Japanese Kirito. So, in my opinion, the voice acting works really well. And when you're flying through the air, that wind sound works really well. The problem I come into is how generic sounding weapons are, how generic sounding music is. That's where my problems start. So for me, as much as I like some aspects of the audio, I don't like enough aspects to give it a high score. It is a 3 out of 5 in the audio department. Okay, so now we're going to talk about gameplay. So, gameplay, what they did is they took and refurbished Lost Songs gameplay. They brought back the flight combat mechanic, which was horrible in Lost Song, and they fixed it. It is actually good in this game. I actually love the flight combat in this game. Now, combat is Sword Art Online combat. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. You just hit the thing, you win. You hit the thing, and you win. So, there's no thrills about it. I mean, you have special skills, and you do have stuff like, if my party will ever regroup with me, I can maybe show you. Let's go find an enemy real quick. These guys work. So you have these like special attacks that you can do when you have your switch bar raised. Unfortunately, mine is not raised fully yet, which sucks because I really want to show you it. But it essentially lets you randomly on the fly during combat change characters, which is pretty sick. I think that is a vast improvement. It's something that should have been in, the SAO games from the beginning, but it wasn't. And you know what? Now it is. So, I can't complain about that. Where I, however, can complain is how bad they dumbed down the combat system. If you remember, all the previous Sword Art Onlines allowed you to actually learn skills. It actually treated you like a competent MMO player. It was one of the few things I liked and reminded me a lot of the Dot Hack franchise. So, them taking that away kind of stings. And I'll show you what I mean here. Okay, so this is the menu. You have your map areas, of course. There's essentially 6 levels, if you would. You have quests. You have items, which you can sort and look up and see what you've done on the items. You have your data. Now, this I do like here. Data with the messages, the database that gives you all your information, and the new titles section being all in one place. I do like that. Options are very basic. Aside from a warp to the town option. Now this is my point of contention. Members. So let's go to skills. You learn it all by winning. And leveling. You don't have to learn anything like you did in the previous games, which unfortunately sucks. I don't know why they did it like this. It hurts my head. Also, I don't like the fact that the change character is on the R stick. I guess it doesn't matter when you are in a menu, but I am so used to that being, for cameras that it kind of affects me when I do it. I would have preferred L2 and R2. If you wanted your change category, fine, but you should have left L2 and R2 for changing your characters. Your equipment has been extremely streamlined. I really don't like that. And then you have the shortcuts. That is the one thing I like about that menu, is the shortcuts. You have yard, just like in Lost Song. And then you have burst points. I'm presuming, since I haven't seen a use for burst points yet, that eventually you go to the Accel World and you use those there, because they do talk about it being used for every action in shops and stuff like that. So I'm presuming that's what goes on. But, you know, that's a debate for when I get that far in. So, you know, I do like other aspects, like you got yourself some rush maneuvers, like you can hold L1 and hit square and that'll execute a rush maneuver. I do like that you can also hold L1 and hit up to do special attacks like this. That plays towards everybody's strength. So this is a switch. And you do extra damage while on the switch. If I can find this unknown player. There she is. So you have these sudden quests, which can get you extra stuff if you pass. This one is a survival sort of mission. So you have to kill enemies until time runs out and try to keep the unknown player alive. So, once you do those, if you succeed, you get extra stuff. Let's get down there and protect her. I don't know why, like, Asuna is just like sort of standing there. I'm going to stand in front of her. That way, if anybody comes, I can automatically go into defense mode. So, we have to survive for another 1 minute and 9 seconds. I'll leave Asuna and the robot Black Lotus up to the fighting. I'll just stay back here and sort of defend her. I would have liked to see stuff like that for when you're defending players, that you can use healing items on them. That would be a good aspect to try. Maybe in a future game. Would definitely make it more tactical. So 30 seconds and we'll complete it. Your other characters are kind of self-sufficient anyway. They tend to do somewhat good in survival. So we cleared that quest, and we got some yard and BP for it. So that's pretty much all there is to sudden quests. Let's go ahead and fly back to town, and we'll finish the tour of the game up with town stuff. So we'll go back to the floating city of Rhine. This is where actually integrates too, because you notice some of the buildings from Accel World out. Well, more importantly, when you get to the city of Rhine, anybody who watched Sword Art Online knows what it typically looks like. This is not it. They turned it into sort of a techno city. So you have your usual stuff. You have your quest board. You have your shop, which is sort of like your inn from the previous games. So you just approach the quest board, and that's where you accept your quests at. We'll go over to those things last. You have your weapon shop, your item shop, your engraved stone shop, which Accel World characters exclusive, your material shop. I'm presuming these are shops that are going to open later in the game. And then your smithy for upgrading your weapons. So you can go in and enhance it just like... So let's try... We'll enhance its elemental attack. There we go. And you have synthesizing transformations. Your center of the town is your gate. Now let's go talk, and of course you got NPCs everywhere. Let's go and talk about these two things over here. So saving went back to a more Sword Art fragment style, but this time instead of it being your book, you have a maintenance booth. You can switch out your party members there. You can also see who's all in your party. Use storage and save. Then right next to it, you have an online hub for a matching portal. You can do custom matches, free matches, and accept invitations. Free matches just takes you right into multiplayer lobby. It just lets you sort of run around while other people are playing. You can match up with them later if you want to. Accept invitation is accepting your friend's invitation. You got your search for room, which you can specify. Same with creation types. And you can either restrict by language and connection and set passwords and comments. That's pretty cool. So, for me, the gameplay is a 4 out of 5. Unfortunately, it would have been perfect if they kept the skill system. They would have kept the skill system. You would have had a phenomenal combat system. Unfortunately, it falls a little short. Maybe they'll improve that in the next game. So overall, story we're looking at a 4 out of 5. Graphics, we were looking at a 5 out of 5. Audio, a 3 out of 5. And gameplay, a 4 out of 5. I'm going to give Accel World versus Sword Art Online a 3.5 out of 5. I know I normally don't use the 0.5 system, but this game is above average. It's not much above average, but it is above average. Hollow Realization did a lot of the stuff better. I would like to see a merger of this system and Hollow Realization system. But that would be for the next game. So, you know, if you're looking for a new RPG and you got $60 to burn, there's worse options you can buy. Akiba's Beat proved that. If you're an SAO fan, I would say this is an absolute must pick up. It's just really going to depend on you in this type of game. If you're looking for a new Sword Art Online game, get this. If you're not, skip it. It's going to depend on you. 3.5 out of 5 is the final score. You know the drill. Like if you like, subscribe if you want. Leave any comments you have in the comments section. And this is Omega Zone Gaming. 3 videos in one night, and I'll see you in the next video. And I am out.